There is so much misinformation given by the mainstream media. And they tell us they can only report on information that has been verified by police. And will not report on some of the eyewitness statements. You have to ask yourself, why? Here is just a small portion of what Global has reported on. Just a couple of points we should hear. First, ask yourself why the RCMP requested FAQs instead of doing interviews with the media.
Couple of points that I was hoping you could talk about. So for example, they sent out an FAQ instead of having a press conference on the second day. Is that typical? I haven't seen something like that before.
I don't think I've ever seen it before in an event like this. I have seen various government departments try that. And asking and answering questions yourself is really not the same as asking and answering questions from journalists, because obviously you control both the questions and the answers and prevent any follow-ups.
RCMP said they would never give out information at first.
Some very strange points in all of this, like when they posted to Facebook saying that they were never going to disclose the relationship between some of the victims and the gunman, but they were known to each other. But they didn't disclose it until after we published our story. And it was more than 24 hours after that that they then came out and started to walk through the timeline.
Mercedes said that others have conspiracy theories. But listen to the story she has put out, claiming official sources gave her the information. So either the official sources or the RCMP are lying.
Unfortunately, it has engendered all of these kind of crazy conspiracy theories that have no basis in reality, that are just being fanned on the internet and growing. And people who you might otherwise think are, credible have sent these to me.
Here is Mercedes' story. Sounds a bit like a conspiracy theory to me.
Yeah, so we started hearing from police sources last week that there had been a violent assault on his girlfriend, and is that there'd been a gathering down the street earlier in the evening, and Gabriel Wortman had this cottage, and it was on the same road as this gathering. This was a bunch of neighbors who were getting together, and there was some kind of an argument between Gabriel Wortman and his girlfriend. And after Gabriel Wortman attacked the people who had been at that home where the party was, that's where he went back to and started shooting and set that home on fire. And a fire that was so hot you couldn't go into it.
Darren Campbell has said that absolutely no one was pulled over. But this is what Mercedes had to say.
Particularly when you have people driving and he's in something that looks just like a police car who could be pulling them off and killing them, which is exactly what some of my sources say happened.
This is what she had to say about Chad Morrison.
He manages to survive. He throws the car into drive and makes it to a casualty collection point, which was set up for the victims the night before and the additional victims they'd been finding. There's ambulances there. They're able to rush him to hospital.
So if you take her at her word, Chad would have had to have gone to Bass River Fire Hall or Onslow Fire Hall. Remember, Darren Campbell said Heidi did not ram the gunman.
Fact that we can absolutely confirm is with Heidi Stevenson. Constable Heidi Stevenson sees him. She engages him by ramming his vehicle. They end up going off the road. At that point, there's an exchange of fire. So they're shooting back and forth.
We have never been told about people that they found that were still alive and in the process of dying. Exactly where is she getting this information?
Shot and killed people who were grievously wounded and in the process of dying.
Then she has this statement. Well, this does not fit the RCMP narrative. But it is most likely correct, since we know that the car did not leave through the Blueberry Field Road.
Who would look twice at a police officer who's leaving in a police car?
So who do you think the real conspiracy is with? Mercedes is pushing hers pretty good. This is more narrative trying to be pushed, within about 12 hours after the shootings.
Works in both Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. Jenny, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. You tweeted early on in all of this on Monday that the motive of the gunman wasn't a mystery. You wrote, and this is a quotation, "It's about power. Perceived rejection by a woman or women will be the root. It happens in rural communities. There will have been signs. This is male violence." Why did you tweet that?
Violent hatred of women was the catalyst for this mass shooting.
All of these kind of crazy conspiracy theories that have no basis in reality.
Now ask yourself why the media are trying so hard to push their narratives.